North Korea is a communist nation, and they're one of the most mysterious, strange, and isolated countries on our planet. But today, we'll explore the secrets they don't want you to know. North Korea. North Korea is a country that's sandwiched between China and South Korea. It's home to some 26 million people and is roughly the size of Mississippi. North Korea was founded in 1948 by Kim Il-sung and is known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK. What makes North Korea unique as a nation is that they're the only communist nation ruled by the same family. Their political beliefs were developed by Kim Il-sung, and Juche is their main philosophy. In a nutshell, Juche means self-reliance. North Korea will fix its own problems and will develop their nation as they see fit. They're not interested in outside help or interference. One reason for this is because they believe they know what's best for North Korea. Another issue is that North Korea was invaded by Japan in 1910, and it was an absolutely brutal rule by the Japanese. It was something that Kim Il-sung never forgot. Kim Il-sung died in 1994, and 4 years later, his son Kim Jong-il took over the country. He ran North Korea until his death in 2011. Then his son, Kim Jong-un, took over the country and has been the leader ever since. North Korea is one of 5 communist countries in the world. The other 4 are Cuba, China, Laos, and Vietnam. Since North Korea is communist, its relationship with the United States has been incredibly rocky. The US is an ally to neighboring South Korea, a free country that's a republic with a capitalist economy. The United States aided South Korea from 1950 to 1953 during the Korean War. North Korea attempted to unite Korea by force, but the war ended in an armistice. That means a truce ended the fighting, and the war isn't technically over. Both Koreas are divided at the 38th parallel. The demilitarized zone, or DMZ, that divides them is under constant surveillance by both sides. The DMZ is heavily fortified and is next to impossible to cross in certain locations. There's a famous spot at Panmunjom where North Korean forces stare down US and South Korean forces. Since the armistice, relations with the United States and South Korea have been tense. North Korea has violated the armistice many times, which isn't surprising for a nation built on deceit and mind-boggling propaganda. North Korea has attempted to be a secretive nation, but their lies and problems are starting to get exposed by the rest of the world. Leadership is ineffective. What we know about North Korea is that the country is run as a cult of personality. This is an ideology where you take a leader and boost them to a godlike status through heavy propaganda. They want their people to know the myths and not the truths about their leaders. Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un are viewed respectively as the great leader, dear leader, and the supreme leader. Their lives have been mythicized by indoctrinating the people of North Korea. Kim Il-sung was said to have been sent by the gods to reunify Korea. It's also a law in North Korea to have images of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il in your home. These pictures are not meant to be damaged, as they're considered the most sacred items in every household. North Korea's government and press is highly critical of the United States and anything Western. However, Kim Jong-un was educated in Switzerland and is a fan of Western culture, especially basketball. His father, Kim Jong-il, reportedly imported just under $1 million worth of Hennessy cognac per year. And if you're wondering, Hennessy is a Western company based in France. And Kim Jong-un is just as big a fan of cognac as his father. The United States had at one time a list of items that companies weren't allowed to sell to North Korea. This included luxury cars, pianos, yachts, and ski-doos. But today, the elite in Pyongyang, the country's capital city, have the best cars and own imported luxury goods. That's just the tip of the iceberg, though, when it comes to North Korean lies versus the real men who run or have run the country. North Korea is communist and is opposed to capitalism and all of its so-called trappings. While the leaders live in luxury, the people live incredibly difficult lives that are run by fear. They are desperate for cash. Countries need to make money to survive, but North Korea has faced sanctions and trade embargoes. So they heavily rely on China for importing and exporting goods. More recently, though, North Korea has taken drastic measures to bring in cash. There's a secretive office known as Office 39 in North Korea. Their goal is to bring in foreign currency to pay for the lavish lifestyle of the country's dictator, Kim Jong-un. And it's believed that Office 39 brings in roughly $1 billion of revenue each year. Office 39 has been involved in criminal activities around the globe. They've developed counterfeit currency, manufactured illegal drugs, and have ties to human trafficking. And additionally, some items created in North Korea were allegedly stamped with "Made in China" labels to avoid any kind of sanctions. North Korea also sells weapons to foreign countries like Egypt, Iran, Somalia, and Ethiopia. The country has also joined in the world of cybercrime. This is an interesting step by a country that takes an extreme view on keeping its people in line. Do you think there's a chance that North Korea could be liberated in the near future? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're at it, subscribe. Fear and prison camps. North Korea loves to promote itself as a workers' paradise where everyone lives comfortably. They claim that there are numerous wonderful jobs and there's plenty to eat, but it's all a lie. North Korea runs on fear. And the main method of keeping the people in line is their network of prison camps. There are weekly propaganda meetings in towns and villages that are mandatory. Those who don't attend are reported to the authorities. Neighbors are encouraged to spy on each other, and it's said that 1 in 3 North Koreans will secretly report someone they know over the course of their lifetime. How crime is handled in the country is extreme. Criminals are punished, but so are their families. North Korea has a system called 3 generations of punishment, where 3 generations of a family are imprisoned, and some of these families will live out the rest of their lives behind bars. There are an estimated 200,000 people in these camps, and the government continues to build new facilities. Those that are sent to these camps in North Korea are viewed as enemies of the state. Some people who are sent to these camps are given very little food, and they're forced to eat insects and rodents to survive. Jobs also vary in these camps. Some prisoners work as farmers, while others work in mines. But there are those who've been used as slave labor to build nuclear test facilities. Perhaps the most shocking information about these camps is the brutality that goes on within them. Guards are taught to treat prisoners as if they're not human. Barbaric tactics are used, and one camp reportedly had so many deaths per year that the guards were asked to be less hostile toward the prisoners. And what's even more horrible is that these camps don't just hold men and women, they're also filled with innocent children. Some have escaped these prisons and have shared their stories with the outside world. Guards have even escaped and shared their horrific stories as well. One guard explained in a 2006 National Geographic documentary that he had made a simple mistake with an announcement on a PA system. He knew he'd be punished, so somehow he managed to crawl under an electric fence and avoid a minefield in order to seek freedom in South Korea. Thousands of North Koreans attempt to flee every year. Their plan is to cross the border into China. These people are willing to make the ultimate sacrifice for freedom. China isn't the final step toward freedom, though. They must work with someone to get them out of China and to South Korea for asylum. It's an incredibly difficult situation with no safety guaranteed. North Korea has dissenters in the government, but Kim Jong-un has eliminated those he views as problems. People in North Korea know full well that any form of rebellion would be crushed by any means necessary. It's the sheer brutality of the North Korean government that keeps them in power. They rule with fear, and they use media and propaganda to keep everyone in line. Media. Apparently, the leadership of North Korea does nothing wrong. They're always working for the people. News of Kim Jong-un visiting factories or towns is always on the television or broadcast on the radio. And one organization even cited Kim Jong-il as a predator of press freedom. And his son, Kim Jong-un, has continued that role. Not only does North Korea control the media, but they also have a firm grip on what can and cannot be filmed in the country. It's considered political treason if you're caught filming everyday life. The rules are so severe that one could be imprisoned for life if found guilty of this crime. Citizens in North Korea also don't have access to the internet. Whatever information they receive comes directly from the government. And in the past, speeches by Kim Jong-un have played on a loop for months in North Korean towns. The North Korean media has twisted the truth. They've told their citizens that the United States started the Korean War. Citizens in North Korea are also told that the US wants to enslave them. Defectors living in South Korea have smuggled thumb drives into North Korea. These thumb drives include movies and television shows. North Koreans have exposure to the Western world by having access to these shows. So, laptops and radios have been smuggled in as well. If you purchase a television or radio in North Korea, they've been programmed only to pick up North Korean-controlled channels. But those that are smuggled in are able to get channels that aren't approved by the government. The North Korean government has tried cracking down on these items being brought into their country because they allow citizens to know the truth about their leaders. And the government is frightened, to say the least. An educated public is what they fear the most. The majority of defectors were inspired by watching these videos from outside North Korea or even hearing radio broadcasts from South Korea. There's a channel in Seoul, the capital of South Korea, run by North Korean defectors. The North Korean government has cracked down on the possession of DVDs, thumb drives, radios, and laptops. They've even executed people for watching television or movies from foreign countries. The risk is worth it, though, for many North Koreans because they're hungry for the truth. What's odd about the crackdowns is that the elite who live in the capital of Pyongyang have personal computers and access to the internet. North Korea reluctantly allowed cell phone usage in their country for the elites as well. Famine and starvation. A famine killed roughly 1 million North Koreans in the 1990s. But some estimate that the famine could have killed 2 million people. The food shortage was mainly due to erosion and drought. North Korea doesn't have much arable land. Plus, they're susceptible to natural disasters. However, the impact of that famine is felt to this very day. The food shortages have persisted, and a vast majority of North Koreans don't have enough food to eat. There are even orphan children living on the streets. They barely manage to survive, and even pick through trash for food scraps, while others resort to stealing and begging in the streets. North Korean television makes it seem like everything is okay, showing well-stocked grocery stores to the country's citizens. They also show the production of food and drink. North Korea paints itself as the land of plenty. But what's even more bizarre is that department stores in Pyongyang are filled with furniture, clothing, and food. However, they're not really for sale. In reality, it's a facade for visitors. The truth is that some 11 million people in North Korea are considered malnourished, impacting 1 in 5 children in the country. These children are considered stunted in their growth. And not only has this had an impact on physical growth, but cognitive growth as well. People in North Korea don't have adequate access to clean water or even medical care. The hospitals that are available may not have the equipment or medication for their patients. Also, power outages are common in North Korea, which adds to the humanitarian crisis. But the government has refused to admit there's a problem. And at times, they also refuse help from the outside world. Conclusion. North Korea is viewed as a hermit kingdom. Although they're isolated, a great deal has been learned from those that have visited and studied the country. They're an illusion of prosperity, but North Korea is failing its people in many ways. It's the common North Korean that's left to fend for themselves, while the elites have everything they want. They have food, luxury items, and things that are forbidden to ordinary citizens. Those who aren't the elite are struggling to get food or find access to clean water. So, in a nutshell, it's a very difficult life for North Koreans. However, the more information that gets out about North Korea allows outsiders to fully understand what happens in the Hermit Kingdom. What did you find fascinating about this video concerning North Korea? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.